Hi, you'll be surprised to know if I tell you that the syllabi which is taught across the globe in the B schools was already present in Bhagavad Gita. Isn't it a surprise? It was a discovery which happened to me. Bhagavad Gita is known to be a holy literature for Hindus, just like Bible for Christians, then Quran for Islamis, Granth Sahib for Punjabis, and so on and so forth. Bhagavad Gita was proven to be written some 5000 years before Christ, and surprisingly, all the management principles, philosophies, models, discoveries, different kind of theories which are being taught in the B schools are found to be present in Bhagavad Gita. Would you like to know how it is? Keep watching. Now let's see from where Bhagavad Gita has taken place. In Indian mythology, Mahabharata, there was a fight between two cousin families, Kauravas and Pandavas. The lead warrior from Pandava family, Arjun, he could see that there were his maternal uncles, paternal uncles, his friends, his gurus, his teachers, seniors, and many relatives were there with whom he was supposed to fight, and there he got into a dilemma situation. He was very much miserable. He got down from the chariot and he asked Lord Shri Krishna, how can I fight with my own people and kill them and win the kingdom? I don't want to have this kind of kingdom. So at then, when Lord Shri Krishna advised Arjuna to fight, that was the advice in the form of Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita was originally written in Sanskrit. Lord Shri Krishna told Bhagavad Gita in Sanskrit to Arjuna. Later on, Shankaracharya looked at Bhagavad Gita from the perspective of Gyan, that is knowledge, whereas Saint Gyaneshwar, who is from Pune, he looked at Bhagavad Gita from the perspective of Bhakti, that is devotion, and very recently, Lokmanya Bal Gangadhar Tilak, a freedom fighter of India, looked at Bhagavad Gita from the perspective of karma, that is action and the work. Bhagavad Gita is originally known to be written in Sanskrit, which was later translated and published in more than 49 languages across the world, such as French, German, Spanish, Italian, Russian, Ukrainian, Croatian, and even Chinese, Japanese, Arabic, Nepali, Hindi, Bengali, Gujarati, Marathi, Kannada, Malayalam, Odia, Tamil and Telugu, and so forth. Jagadguru Adi Shankaracharya looked at Bhagavad Gita from the perspective of knowledge, that is Jnana Yoga. Shankaracharya's Bhagavad Gita is known to have an Advaita philosophy also included in it, which means you and God, referred to as Jiv and Shiv, are not two separate entities but one. Both are intermingled with each other. Bhagavad Gita was later perceived by Saint Gyaneshwar from Maharashtra from the perspective of devotion, that is Bhakti Yoga. Saint Gyaneshwar translated Bhagavad Gita in Prakrit language, which was a vernacular Indo-Aryan language much near to Marathi, somewhere in 13th century in 2090 by the name Amrutanubhava, which has 9000 verses of 3.5 parts each, known as OV. Dhaneshwar lived only for 21 years, but he wrote Amrutanubhav and made the eternal contribution to the humankind by easy comprehending translation of Bhagavad Gita. The original Bhagavad Gita was written in Sanskrit, which has 18 adhyayas, that is chapters, and 700 verses, that is shlokas. In the most recent past, Bhagavad Gita was translated in Marathi by Lokmanya Bal Gangadhar Tilak, a freedom fighter and an educationist from Pune. Named as Gita Rahasya, meaning secrets of Bhagavad Gita, Lokmanya Tilak perceived Bhagavad Gita from the perspective of work or action, which is the most recent concept and needed thing in today's business world, that is Karma Yoga. Lokmanya Tilak was imprisoned in Burma's Mandale prison from 1908 to 1914, where he wrote Gita Rahasya in 1914 in just less than 4 months. Tilak's Gita Rahasya is also known as writing due to blessings from Saint Gajanan Maharaj, a then seer. Let's know a few things before we actually delve into Bhagavad Gita. In Mahabharata war, number of soldiers which were fighting the war were counted in the unit called as Akshavini. And one Akshavini Sena had chariots, elephants, horses, and foot warriors in the proportion of 1:1, 1:3:5. Hence, 21,870 chariots, 21,870 elephants, 65,610 horses, and 1,09,350 foot warriors, equaling to 2,18,700 warriors in one Akshavini. Pandava had 7 Akshavini, means 7 into 2, 18,700, which comes to 15,30,900, and Kaurava had 11 Akshavini, means 11 into 2,18,700, which comes to 24,05,700. So at the given point of time in Mahabharata war, there were 39,36,600 warriors fighting on the battlefield. The very first learning from Bhagavad Gita, even before Bhagavad Gita actually started, is the kind of teamwork and the inventory management which was required for the warriors fighting at the battlefield. There were around 39,36,600 warriors fighting on the battlefield with an only intention to kill each other. The war at then used to happen only during the daytime. It used to set off when the sun used to set off, and it used to start again the next day when the sun used to rise. Hence, the arrangements required for 3.9 million plus warriors itself must have been a tough task, such as sleeping arrangements, early morning course, washing clothes and utensils, sticking and storing and preparation of food, cooking places, quantity of breakfast, dinner, storing and availability of the weapons, safety wears, and so on. The Mahabharata war was supposed to last for 18 days, and in which everyday maintenance of weapons, war tools, chariots, serving food to horses and elephants. So also lakhs of people must have been wounded or killed during the war every day. Hence, serving the wounded and making them ready for the next day for fighting, clearing the dead bodies from the battlefield, their cremation, funerals, and so on. Just imagine how many number of people and other resources must have been required for all such necessities for 3.9 plus million warriors. This itself is a starting lesson from business perspective in inventory, supply chain management, and teamwork. There has no mention of any mismanagement noted for the preparation of the war and the warriors. Anxiety, stress, tensions are unfortunately the facts of human beings of today's era. Stress results into physiological, psychological, mental, and behavior disorders. Bhagavad Gita explains in a very scientific way the sources of stress, its manifestation, and remedies. Mainly by stabilizing body, mind, and soul, an individual can cope up with day-to-day stress and can balance professional work and personal life. Bhagavad Gita's first chapter speaks about Arjuna's condition under stress, who is the representative of every business professional and individual today. Stress and anxiety, act of despair, faith in own team, team members and their capabilities, utilization of available resources, motivation, power and politics, SWOT analysis, SOC analysis, competitor analysis, and so forth are the business learnings from first chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Verse numbers 29 and 30 of the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita mention the individual's physiological conditions under stress. As seeing own people in front of to fight with, Arjuna got anxious and stressed. He says, Sidante me gatrani mukham cha parishushate vepatushya sharire me romaharshasya jayate gandivam sransate hastat tyakchaiva paridayate nacha shaknome vastatum bhramati vacha me manaha. Which simply means my body is shivering and there are rashes all over my body, my bow is slipping down automatically from my hands and my body is burning. I am not able to control my poise and my mind is swirling. God, I can see nothing but only disaster and misfortune likely to happen. This is known to be physiological reaction of the stress in our day-to-day life, also known as manifestation of stress. Verse number 9 of first chapter of Bhagavad Gita, which says, Annecha bhavaha shuraha madarte takta jivitaha nana shastra praharanaha nana yuddha visharadaha, which means it asks the manager to know the strengths and weaknesses of the team, its members and their dedication. A committed workforce leads to success in all the ventures. Hence, a professional must have confidence and awareness about the strengths of his workforce, colleagues, peers, superiors, subordinates, and all the stakeholders of the organization. Leader must have awareness and confidence in his team and his subordinates. Verse numbers 12 and 13 of first chapter of Bhagavad Gita mentions, Tasya sanjanaya harsham kururviddha pitamaha simvanada vinadyauchai शंखौ दग्मो पृथक पृथक तथा शंखाश्य भैरेश्य पनमानक गोमुखः सहसैवाभ्य हन्यन्त सब शब्दस्तुमुलो भवत्, which means Pitama Bhishma blew his own conch followed by the Kauravas' entire army. This demonstrates that the seniors of an organization should inspire the young and junior professionals at the times of distress and demanding situations to help them overcome anxiety and insecurity and motivate them to continue putting in their efforts to their fullest. Verse numbers 13 to 19 of the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita mention that the lead warriors from Kauravas and Pandavas blew their conches. Kettle drums, cymbals, cow-faced instruments and many other war gadgets making thunderous noise such that it echoed through the sky and earth. This symbolizes the power and politics in almost every organization where every individual portrays to prove superior to everyone around to achieve materialistic and selfish objectives confined to himself or herself. Verse numbers 21 to 23 of first chapter of Bhagavad Gita, it's one of the verses says, Yavad deta niriksheham yodadhuka manavasthitan kairmaya sah yodavyam asmin ranasamudyame, which means Arjuna asks Lord Sri Krishna to take the chariot at the center of the battlefield to see who is there to fight with. This implies that every organization must conduct a field survey of the market before making any decision to know the market situations, competitors' analysis, own strengths and weaknesses, opportunities for the niche business, and the threats and challenges to the company and the new ventures. This was known as SWOT earlier, now it is known as SOC, that is strength, weaknesses, opportunities and challenges analysis of business. The first chapter of Bhagavad Gita mentions the names of warfighter experts in different war techniques, war gadgets, war weapons, war strategies and so on. Arjuna could see his own team and knew in depth about Kauravas' each expert warrior. On the similar lines, the manager must know the KSAs, that is knowledge, skills and attitudes as well as attributes of every individual, competencies of each team member so that he can be sure about the performance and accomplishment of the assigned tasks. The last two verses of first chapter of Bhagavad Gita indicate that the tendency of human beings to lose audacity in the situation of difficulty in decision making, similar to Arjuna, who got down from the chariot crying and saying he never wanted to have the kingdom, he never wanted to have the pleasure of the life by killing his own relatives, gurus, seniors, friends, siblings and so on. He got emotionally captured and lost the rational approach to his duty as a fighter, a Kshatriya, who is supposed to protect the kingdom in all tough and challenging situation. And that is what it happens in a difficult, challenging situations of our day-to-day lives. Stay tuned.